The wind screamed over the icy wasteland. Snow fell sideways. Everything was white, cold, dead. A U.S. military transport jet had crashed hours ago. There were no survivors. At least that's what the radio said, but deep in the frozen wreckage, a weak hand pushed up through the twisted metal. Fingers bloodied, arms shaking, skin pale. Eva Monroe, 17, coughed hard, her chest aching with every breath. Her helmet was gone. Blood dripped down her temple. She didn't remember the crash, just a blinding light, a loud sound, and then nothing now. She was alive, alone, and freezing. She crawled out of the wreck. Clothes torn, boots soaked with snow. She stood for just a second and fell hard on her knees. Pain exploded in her leg. It was probably broken. "I need help," she whispered. But her voice was swallowed by the wind. Eva looked up at the sky and froze. It was broken. There was no better word for it. The stars above were shattered, bent like glass. Something was there, hiding in the clouds. Something not human. The shape moved like a shadow with lights. A ship. A creature. She didn't know. But it was watching her then darkness. She passed out again. When Eva woke up, she wasn't in the snow anymore. She was lying on something soft, warm. Her wounds didn't hurt. The air smelled clean and strange, like metal and flowers. Blue lights glowed on smooth walls. Above her, a dome showed the stars. Real, stars unbroken now. Her hands were shaking. Her heart raced. "Where am I?" she whispered. A voice answered, calm, gentle. "Male, you are safe." She turned her head slowly, and there he was, a boy maybe her age, maybe older. Tall, glowing faintly, his skin shimmered like moonlight. His hair was white, and his eyes were bright silver, no pupils, just light. He wore smooth, dark clothing that looked grown, not stitched. He didn't blink. Eva's breath caught. "You're not human." He tilted his head. "No, I am Kael. I found you after the fall. Your bones were broken. Your head was bleeding. I healed you." "Healed me," she said, trying to sit up. "Why?" Kael didn't move closer. "Because you were alive." Tried to stand. Her legs were shaking, but they worked now. "Where is this? Where are we?" Kael looked up. "Beneath your world. It's far under the ice. This place is not supposed to be found." "Why are you?" harrowed her eyes. "Why are you here?" There was a pause. Kael finally answered, but quietly. "To observe, to learn, not to interfere." She stepped back. "But you saved me." Another pause. "Yes," he said. For a long moment, the two just stared at each other. Eva didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to run, but part of her couldn't look away. His face wasn't scary, it was calm, almost sad. Then a sudden noise cut through the silence. A high-pitched hum, far away, deep and rising. Like a siren, but not. Man-made. Kael's eyes widened. "What?" He turned to a wall and touched it. A screen appeared, showing shapes in the snow above. Soldiers, military drones, tanks. "They are searching," Kael said. "For me," Eva whispered. "No," he said. "For me." She stared at him. "The military knows? Not fully?" "They saw something fall. They will search. And if they find this place, they'll kill you." Kael looked at her for a long time. Yes, she looked at the glowing walls, the advanced tech, the warmth, the care. Her bones were whole again. Her head didn't hurt anymore. He had saved her, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. But still, he was an alien, and Earth didn't trust aliens. She stepped forward. "You need to leave before they get too close." Kael's face didn't change, but his voice softened. "I can't. My ship is broken. I've called for help, but the answer may come late." Eva thought hard. "Then hide." He nodded. "Yes, but I must also hide you. If they see you, they'll ask what you saw, what you know. They will fear me through you." Eva took a deep breath. "Then tell me the truth." Kael was silent. Then he reached to a device on his wrist. A new screen appeared full of symbols. Maps. Galaxies. My people are called the Yelari. We are watchers. We do not conquer. Study. Learn. We believe in peace. But you're here on Earth, Eva said. That's invasion. Kael said, not for us. For others, maybe? He looked up. My people are divided. Some want to protect. Some want to control. Eva stepped back, her mind racing. So there's more of you? There's coming? Kael didn't answer. That was the answer. Back on the surface, soldiers moved closer. They scanned the snow. One of them found pieces of strange metal glowing under the ice, sir. A voice crackled over the radio. We have alien tech at the crash site. A commander's voice replied, Copy that. We may not be alone. Inside the dome, Kael turned away from the screen. They're too close. I must erase this place. You must go. Eva frowned.
Oh?
Go where? I can't walk through that storm. Again, I'll carry you. I'm not leaving you here, she said sharply. They'll find you. Kael blinked, confused. Why do you care? Eva opened her mouth, then closed it. Why did she care? Because he had saved her. Because he was kind. Because he was different. But not evil, because she saw something in his silver eyes that she couldn't explain. She looked at him. You saved me. Now I'll save you. Kael led her to a small chamber. A pod stood there like a glass coffin. This will send you up. Near the forest? Away from the search? They will find you quickly, but they will not find me. Eva hesitated. If I leave, will I see you again? Kael looked at her. Slowly he reached into a pocket and pulled out a smooth black stone. He placed it in her hand. If it glows, I am near. She stared at it, then stepped into the pod. Before the door closed, she whispered, Don't die. Kael didn't smile, but his eyes were softer. The door hissed shut. The pod launched. Eva shot through a tunnel of ice and light. She screamed as wind howled around her. Then she crashed into the snow, just as military headlights lit up the trees. Soldiers rushed over, guns raised, shouting, She's alive. Someone cried. Eva looked up at the sky. It wasn't broken anymore, but something was coming, and it had already begun. The hospital room smelled like chemicals and plastic. Eva Monroe sat by the window, staring at the cold sky outside. Her leg was bandaged. Her forehead had stitches. Doctors called her lucky. The news called her a miracle, but Eva didn't feel lucky. She felt watched since the crash. Two things never left her side. The small black stone Kael gave her, and the feeling that someone or something was out there. She touched the stone in her pocket again. Cold, smooth, silent. It hadn't glowed once since. She came back. That worried her. There were also men in dark suits, military men, not doctors. Not nurses, just watchers. They stood by the door. They asked quiet questions, took notes, smiled fake smiles. One of them, tall, with sharp eyes, entered her room. No name tag, no greetings. Eva, he said. You're lucky to be alive. She didn't answer. He took a seat. Tell me again. What do you remember about the crash? She looked at him, her face blank. I don't remember anything. Just the snow, then darkness. He nodded slowly. Strange. You were found 15 miles from the wreck, in perfect health. Not even frostbite. I guess I was lucky. He leaned forward. We found some very interesting metal in the crash zone. Not from this Earth. Looks like something. Not human. You sure you didn't see anything? She looked out the window. No, she said. Nothing. The man didn't move for a long time. Then he smiled. Okay, get some rest. When he left, Eva waited until the door clicked shut. She pulled out the black stone again and whispered, Where are you? It didn't glow. It didn't speak. But that night, something else did. At exactly 2:13 a.m., her phone buzzed. But it wasn't a normal message. The screen flashed once, then turned dark. Strange symbols appeared. Circles, lines, stars, moving fast, rearranging. Then words formed. Eva, I am alive. Her heart leaped. She sat up fast, ignoring the pain in her leg. Another message appeared. Cannot speak long. They are listening. She typed quickly, "Where are you?" No reply for a long minute. Then, "They found me. I escaped. I am not alone. My people are coming." Eva stared at the screen. "Coming for me," she typed this time. The answer chilled. "Her. No. For your world." The next day, the news was full of strange things. Power surges across the East Coast. Bright red streaks seen in the sky near Alaska. A blackout over a Canadian military base. 3 satellites went offline at the same time. No one had answers, but Eva knew. She got out of bed. Her leg still hurt, but she walked anyway. She dressed in silence, grabbed the black stone, slipped it in her pocket. She had to find him, Kael, or warn someone. But who would believe her? Her own father was a general in the U.S. Army and even he didn't know what really happened. If she told him now, he'd lock her in a lab. She limped through the hospital hallway, avoiding nurses and cameras. Her body screamed in pain, but she kept walking. She had to. Outside, snow fell again. She barely made it to the street before headlights blinded her. A black car stopped in front of her. The same man from the hospital stepped out. "Going somewhere, Eva?" She didn't answer. He opened the back door. "Let's take a drive." She should have run, should have screamed, but she didn't. She climbed in. The door slammed shut behind her. The car was silent as it drove down the icy road. The man looked at her in the mirror. "Your father's worried." Eva stared ahead. "Where are you taking me?" "To someone who might help you understand what's coming." She turned. "What do you mean?" Didn't answer. Minutes passed. Then the car stopped at an abandoned radar station deep in the woods. Big fences, old towers, snow covering everything. Eva was led inside, down a staircase, into a bunker. There were people already there. Scientists, soldiers, monitors, showing space. One screen flashed a warning. Unidentified orbital object holding position. Another showed a black triangle ship, sitting silently above Earth. "It hasn't moved in 12 hours, a man said. The man from the car turned to Eva. "We believe it's Yelari. We believe you made contact." She stepped back.
"How do you
"Know that name?" "We intercepted a message. From someone using your DNA signature." Eva's blood ran cold. "Kael." He single quotes D reached out. The military had caught it. "Where is he?" She asked. "Gone. His signal vanished 2 hours ago, but the ship hasn't left, we think. He's still up there, or where something else is." Eva felt sick. The man leaned closer. "If you know anything, tell us now." She said nothing. He pulled a small device from his pocket and held it toward her. The black stone in her coat glowed bright blue. Everyone in the room froze. "That stone carries a tracking signal," he said. "He gave it to you, didn't he?" Eva stayed quiet. The man nodded to the soldiers. "We're going to use it. Follow it. And if he's really still out there," he looked at her coldly, "we'll bring him down." That night, Eva was locked in a room with glass walls and cameras. She couldn't sleep. The stone had stopped glowing. She whispered to it, begging for Kael to respond. Nothing then. At 3 a.m., the lights flickered. The cameras blinked off, and a voice filled the room. Faint, metallic. "Eva. I'm sorry." She stood up. "Kael, are you there?" "They're coming. I tried to stop them. I failed." "What's coming?" "War. My people sent a warning to yours long ago. You never heard it." The wall glowed on, suddenly showed. A memory, like a vision, an alien fleet. Hundreds of ships, burning a planet, screams, explosions. Then the view turned to Earth. "They don't trust humans anymore," Kael said. "They believe you are violent, dangerous. The council voted yesterday." Eva's voice cracked. "Voted for what?" "To strike first." She stared in horror. "How much time do we have? Maybe days. Maybe hours." Her chest tightened. "I need to see you." The voice paused. "If you come to me, they will follow. But if you don't, I may die alone." She closed her eyes. I'm coming. Meanwhile, in Earth's orbit, the black ship began to move. A signal burst across the globe, silencing. Hundreds of satellites. Air forces scrambled. Navies locked onto coordinates. Every world leader received the same. Brief message. This is not a test. And below it, a new word appeared on radar screens. Yelari. Back in the lab, the man from the car stared at Eva's glowing stone. She's connected to it, a scientist said. To him. The man nodded. Then she. Lead us straight to their heart. He turned to his men. Prepare the strike team. The night started quiet. In a small town in Colorado, people walked their dogs, closed their shops, turned off their lights, and went to sleep. The sky was clear. The moon was full, but then it changed. First came the sound, a low, deep hum that rolled through the air like thunder, but with no clouds in sight. Lights flickered, car alarms screamed, phones buzzed with error messages and strange code. Then the moon began to glow, not silver, not white, but red, blood red. People came outside, staring up, pointing, filming. Some thought it was an eclipse. Others thought it was a trick of the sky. But it was in less than a minute. Every screen in America went black. TVs, phones, computers, even government systems. The signal was dead, and something else appeared in the sky. A shadow, shape, massive and sharp, blacker than space itself, moving slowly across the stars. It blocked out the moon. It had no lights, sound just presence. A Yelari mothership, the first of many. Eva Monroe watched the news from inside the base's locked room. Footage was chaos, civilians running, soldiers preparing. Anchors shouting things like EMP attack and possible alien contact. The guards outside her room looked nervous. One whispered, "This is it, isn't it?" The other nodded. "Yeah, this is war." Eva sat down on the floor. Her heart beat too fast. Her hands shook. Kael had warned her. He said his people were coming. He tried to stop it, but they didn't listen to him, and now Earth would pay for it. She looked at the black stone in her palm. "Please," she whispered. "I need you." But it didn't glow. Not this time. Above Earth, the Yelari fleet stretched across the sky like a storm. From every corner of the planet, it could be seen. Washington, Moscow, Tokyo, Cairo, ships shaped like daggers, moving without sound. Inside the U.S. Pentagon, generals shouted orders. "We need eyes on every ship. Where are they targeting? Are we launching?" One screen blinked to life. A strange signal came through. Not human, a message. Translated by AI, the Yelari voice was cold, robotic. "This is not a declaration. This is a correction. Step aside or be removed." Then silence. No further demands. No. Warnings, just that. Back in the bunker, the man who had brought Eva in slammed his fist against the wall. "They're not here to talk," he said. "They're here to wipe us out." A scientist nearby looked pale. "But why now?" Another answered, "Because they think we're dangerous, and they're not wrong. We've been building weapons in orbit. We've fired on unknown objects. Before they're afraid we'll become like them." The man turned to Eva's locked room. "Then we need the one thing they don't expect." 10 minutes later, Eva was dragged out of the room and brought to a new chamber, one filled with alien tech, holograms, and an open pod that looked like a giant. "Breathing egg?" She stepped back. "What is that?" The tech officer answered. "It's Yelari equipment. Kael left it behind when he healed you. We've modified it. We believe it connects to their network." The man stepped forward. "You're the key. Your blood is marked. It responds to you." Eva shook her head. "You want to use me like a machine? We want to use you like a bridge. What happens if I connect to it?" The scientist hesitated. "We don't know. But we think you'll hear them, or they'll hear you." Eva looked around. The screens showed hundreds of ships now. The sky was filling fast. Earth was running out of time. She took a deep breath and stepped inside the pod. The world went silent. Eva felt her body pulled, stretched like her mind was flying across stars. Her eyes were open, but not seeing the lab anymore. Instead, she saw darkness and lights, stars, dot planets, and then voices, not English, not words, but feelings, fear, anger, judgment. So many of them, it's cold and powerful, but one voice cut through them all. Eva. Her heart jumped. Kael. She turned in the dark space, and there he was, not physically, but a shape, glowing bright, standing in the void. "You're alive," she whispered. "So are you," he replied. "But Earth may not be for long." "Saw the ships," she said. "They've come to destroy us." Kael looked down. "They see your kind as unstable, too emotional, too violent." "We're human," she said. "We're not perfect, but we fight for what matters." Kael nodded. "I know. That's why I tried to stop this. But they voted. The war faction won. There has to be a way to stop it." "There's only one way," he said quietly. "You must speak to them." "To who?" "The high voice, the one who controls the judgment." "Okay, but you only get one chance. If they reject your words, Earth dies." Back in the lab, Eva's body shook. Her heart rate spiked. Machines beeped wildly. "She's in deep link." Scientists shouted. "Do we pull her out?" "No, not yet." In the void, Kael led Eva to a place that felt like a throne made of light. It floated in space, surrounded by orbs, faces, eyes, minds, all watching her. Then a single voice filled everything. It echoed like thunder. "You are the one marked. The human girl. Speak." Eva stepped forward. "I am Eva Monroe. I didn't come to start a war. I came to stop one," the voice replied. "Your people destroy. You poison your world. You kill each other. Why should we believe you are safe to exist?" We held her ground. Because we also love. We heal. We protect. We change. You only see what we've done wrong, not what we've done right. Your weapons point at the stars, and yours are already above our heads," she snapped. The voice paused. "You are bold." "I'm human," she said. "That's what we are." There was silence. Then the voice spoke again. "The war continues, unless you show us proof." Eva narrowed her eyes. "What proof?" "Him." Kael stepped forward. The voice said he betrayed his kind for you? Would you die for him? Eva didn't even blink. Yes. Everything went still. Then light exploded around them, and the connection was gone. Eva's eyes snapped open. She was back in the pod, breathing hard. Soldiers. Around her stared, the man asked, "What happened?" "They know," she said, "and they're watching." The scientist pointed at the screen. The ships had stopped, not moved, not attacked. Waiting, the moon still glowed red, but no strike came. Then the black stone on the table began to float and glowed bright. A final message appeared on the screen. "In perfect English, we will watch. But your next move decides your fate." Across the earth, sirens stopped. The hum in the sky faded. The Yelari ships stayed. Not gone, not firing. Just watching, and humanity was left holding its breath. Because war hadn't started yet. The skies were quiet now. No missiles, no lasers, no explosions. But that silence was not peace. It was a warning. The alien ships still floated over the earth. Like silent judges in the sky, their message had been clear. "We are watching. You're next. Move decides your fate." In the middle of a secured U.S. military base in Colorado, Eva Monroe stood alone in her holding room, staring out the small glass window. Her reflection showed dark circles under her eyes. Her face was pale. Her hands trembled. She hadn't slept since the moon turned red. She had spoken to the Yelari high voice, a being older than any human civilization. She had stood in front of alien minds and begged for Earth to be spared. And it worked for now, but Eva knew it wouldn't last. And Kael. He was still out there, somewhere. The boy who had saved her life. The boy whose people now called her a threat. A quiet knock on the glass made. Her turn. It was her father, General Marcus Monroe. He had flown in during the blackout. Tall, cold, always. Wearing his uniform like armor? Eva, he said through the speaker, I need to talk to you.
Off the record.
She hesitated, then nodded. A few minutes later, she sat across from him in the base's secure command room. The table between them felt colder than steel. Her father stared at her like she was a stranger. I've seen the reports. I've seen the footage, the blood tests, the tracking signal. He leaned forward. They changed you. Eva shook her head. No, he saved me. You were found next to Yelari Tech, walking after surviving a crash that should have killed you. Voice rose. Now they hover above us and send warnings directly through your DNA. That's not normal, Eva. That's a weapon. No, she said firmly. That's trust. He trusted me. And I trust him. Her father clenched his fists. The president has authorized something. It's called Project Nightlance. Eva's heart skipped. What is that? An orbital. Rail cannon, hidden in the Pacific. It can fire once. If they attack, we strike back. But if we hit first, we might stand a chance. You can't, she shouted. That's suicide. The Yelari will destroy Earth in minutes. He stared at her with a heavy look. Then give us something. Anything. Where's the boy alien? The one who marked you. Eva stood up, shaking. He's not your enemy. Her father stood too. He's not your friend either. She walked toward the door. Before leaving, she turned to him. I love him, she said. Dan, if you start this war, you'll never see me again. Then she walked out that night. Eva escaped the base using Kael's stone. She held it tightly and whispered to it, just like before. This time it glowed not blue, but white. A new light, new path. She followed it through the forest, past an abandoned road to a clearing surrounded by trees. There, standing quietly beside a dead satellite dish, was Kael. He was weak. His clothes were torn, his silver eyes dim. But he was alive. Eva ran into his arms without a word. He held her tightly, breathing in her scent, his hand shaking as much as hers. I thought they killed you, she whispered. They tried, he said quietly. But I ran. I used old tunnels. I've been hiding. He stepped back and looked into her eyes. I didn't think I'd see you again. She smiled, tears falling. You promised I would. If the stone glowed, Kael looked. Up at the sky, the Yelari ships still hung above, unmoving. They are waiting. The council. ... They don't trust me anymore. They said I betrayed them. You didn't, Eva said. You tried to save both sides. Not enough, Kael replied. They send someone else, my brother Vian. He commands the ship now. He believes you are manipulating me. Eva swallowed hard. What will he do? Watch, then strike. Then we have to stop him, she said. We have to make him listen. Kael shook his head. He won't listen. It's not to you, not to me. Eva stepped closer. Then we'll make him. Later that night, in the sky above, the largest Yelari warship began to descend. The others remained still, but this one moved lower into the clouds, slow and heavy. Like a mountain sliding from the stars, it hovered over Nevada close to a major base. On Earth, red alerts screamed, command centers lit up. The president called an emergency meeting, and Project Nightlance was activated inside the base. Eva's father stood in front of the screen. Targeting sequence started. He watched in silence as his daughter's last words echoed in his mind. I love him. Meanwhile, Eva and Kael stood deep in the forest. The stone glowed again, brighter now, projecting symbols into the air. Kael translated quickly. My brother is preparing a signal strike. Something small, a warning blast, to destroy Earth's defenses. Eva's eyes widened. That will be the end. Humans will fire everything they've got. Kael nodded. That's the plan. Force Earth to fire first. Then, full invasion.
What?
Eva grabbed his hand. Then we need to go up there, to the ship now. Kael looked at her. If we go, we may not come back. Eva didn't blink. I'm not leaving you. Kael pressed a device on his wrist. A glowing arch opened behind them, a transport gate. "Step in," said. Together, they disappeared. Inside the mothership, the air was heavy and cold. Tall silver walls pulsed with life. Alien guards turned. Fast when they saw them, but Kael raised his hand, speaking quickly in Yelari code. Most of the guards stood down. Some didn't. Blasters raised. Tension filled the air, but then another voice echoed through the hallway. Sharp. Cold. "So the traitor returns." Kael turned. His face grew pale. A tall Yelari figure approached, strong-armored, his silver eyes glowing red. "Commander Vayan." Kael's. Brother Vayan stopped a few feet away from them, his voice cut like ice. "You bring a human onto this ship? Onto sacred ground?" Eva stood tall. "I came to stop a war. You started this war." Vayan hissed. "You touched our bloodline. Marked our network. Corrupted my brother." "She saved me," Kael said, stepping between them. "She saved Earth. She saved us." "You're weak," Vayan growled. "I should end this now." He raised his hand. But Kael stepped forward. "If you do this, you'll kill everyone. Even your own." Vayan narrowed his eyes. "I follow the Council's order. They're wrong," Kael shouted. Eva stood before the high voice. She was judged. She was heard. Vayan hesitated. He looked at Eva. "You would die for him?" She didn't flinch. "I already have." There was silence. Then slowly Vayan lowered his hand. "You have one chance," he said coldly. "Speak to the Council again. Make them listen. But if they reject you, I will not stop what comes next." Eva nodded. "Then let me speak." The Earth was holding its breath. Every government was on high alert. Satellites showed the Yelari warship hovering above Nevada, unmoving but armed. Across the planet, militaries scrambled jets, powered up missiles, and whispered words that had been avoided for decades. First strike, in an underground command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. Project Night Lance was ready. A giant rail cannon hidden beneath the waves. Waited for one command, one shot. That's all it would take to bring down the alien ship, or start a war. Couldn't survive. General Marcus Monroe stood before a row of monitors, his eyes locked on the red glowing circle tracking the Yelari ship. He had spent his life making decisions in battle, but this was different. This wasn't just about soldiers or borders. This was about the future. If humanity won, mistake could wipe them out. Behind him, a young officer spoke softly. "Sir." "Countdown locked. Just say the word." The general didn't speak. He was thinking of his daughter. Eva. She was no longer in her room. She had vanished from the base. No one knew how, but he did. She was with him, with the alien boy. And now the fate of Earth might rest on that impossible connection, far above the Earth. Deep inside the Yelari warship, Eva Monroe stood at the edge of a glowing circle. The floor felt alive. The walls pulsed with energy. Lights hovered in the air like spirits. This was the judgment chamber, the place where final decisions were made. And this time, the Yelari High Council had gathered not through speech, but through thought. They didn't sit in chairs. They floated. As light take great minds, each one glowing in a different shade of blue or silver, Kael stood beside her, his face calm but pale. His brother, Commander Vayan, stood across from them, armed and watching. Eva could feel the pressure of the moment. Pressing down on her chest, a voice cold and vast filled the chamber. "Human, you were heard once. That is rare. Speak again, and know this. If we find your words weak, your world will burn." She stepped forward. Her voice didn't shake. "I didn't come to beg this time. I came to ask one question." The lights flickered. The chamber fell. "Still?" Ask, the voice said. Ava's voice grew stronger. "You judge Earth because we have weapons, because we have fear. But look at yourselves. You float above us with warships. You prepare for invasion. You plan to erase us before you even try to understand us." One of the lights brightened. "We learned what you are through your history, your wars, your violence. You destroy yourselves." Eva nodded. "Yes, we've made mistakes. We fight. We fall. But we rise again. every time. That's what it means to be human. Another light dimmed, then pulsed. You believe love justifies danger. She turned toward Kael. He loved me enough to betray everything he was raised to obey. I would give my life to protect him and my people. That's not weakness, that's strength. The council fell silent again. Eva could feel their judgment in the air, then dash without warning. The walls began to blink red. An alarm echoed through the ship. Kael spun around. What is that? Vayan stepped forward. An Earth signal. Something's moving. A Yelari soldier ran into the chamber, speaking quickly in their language. Kael's face turned pale. They've locked onto us. From the ocean? A rail cannon. Ava's heart dropped. They're firing. Kael turned to her. Your people don't know we're trying to stop this. Vayan looked at the council. You see? They strike first? Eva shouted, no. Force them to act. They're afraid, but it was too late. The chamber shook. A flash of light tore through space. Earth's rail cannon had fired. Under the Pacific Ocean, Project Night Lance roared. A hypervelocity slug shot upward at 5 times the speed of sound. It tore through the atmosphere like a spear. Across the world, people watched their phones live news. U.S. fires on alien warship. The Yelari ship glowed in the clouds. Then dash impact. A massive explosion filled the sky. Bright blue energy shields lit up, holding back the force. The warship shook violently, but didn't fall. On board. Eva hit the floor as the chamber trembled. Sparks rained down from the ceiling. Kael helped her up. Smoke filled the room. Vane's voice roared over the chaos. They proven our fears. Earth is a threat. He turned to his guards. Prepare orbital strike, wipe out all launch points. Kael shouted no. He grabbed Eva and pulled her through a side door as the guards closed in. Alarms kept blaring. Walls shifted. The ship was readying its weapons. Eva and Kael ran through curved tunnels, past strange doors and glowing screens. She gasped. They're going to destroy Earth. Kael looked back. Only if we don't stop them. Back at the U.S. Command Center, General Monroe watched the screen flash red. Impact confirmed. Target still active. No signs of damage. Officers panicked, one said. Sir, the ship's powering something up. Massive energy spikes across all channels. Are we under attack? No answer. But they all knew the truth. They had fired first, and now Earth would pay the price. Inside the alien ship, Kael led Eva into a hidden chamber, filled with tall machines and a glowing core. This is their weapon system, he said. If I can shut it down, Earth might live. She looked at him. You'll be branded a traitor forever. He met her eyes. Then I'll be human today. He ran to the console and began touching symbols. The room shook again. Vayan's voice echoed through the ship. Kael, stop this. You would end your own name for a girl? Kael didn't look up. For life. The screen's glitched.energy levels dropped. The lights dimmed. The weapon core began to shut down. Eva smiled through tears. He was doing it. He was saving them. Then the doors exploded open. Vayan entered. His blaster raised. Eva screamed. Kael turned. The shot fired. Everything went still. Smoke filled the room. Eva dropped to the floor beside Kael. He was bleeding, barely breathing, a burn on his side. Vayan stood frozen. The weapon core flickered, then shut down completely. All across the Earth, military systems blinked back online. The sky was silent again. The Yelari ship did not fire. Instead, a message appeared on every screen on Earth. This war was prevented by love. 3 hours later, Eva sat beside Kael in a Yelari med-pod. He was healing, slowly. His eyes still glowed weakly. She held his hand and whispered, You saved us. He smiled faintly. You saved me first. In Washington, D.C., General Monroe stood before the president. We struck first. They didn't finish it. And why? The president asked. The general's voice cracked. Because of a 17-year-old girl who believed in peace. The sky was calm again. No missiles, no explosions. The alien warship still floated above Earth, watching but silent. The world was still afraid, but there was hope. Kael had stopped the Yelari from firing. He had shut down their main weapon and saved billions of lives. But the price was high. Kael was badly injured, and now, lying inside a healing pod deep in the ship, fought to stay alive. Eva Monroe sat beside the pod, holding his hand through the glass. The Yelari said he would recover. But slowly, time was the enemy now. And then came the new warning. The High Council had not accepted Kael's actions as law. They had sent orders to remove him from the ship permanently, to silence the shame of his betrayal, to erase him from history. A special Yelari squad called the Nullborn was coming. Eva heard this through a whisper in the hall. They would arrive in hours, and they wouldn't just take Kael. They would erase all memory of him and destroy anyone who stood in the way. Eva rushed to the edge of the ship's platform. Below her, the earth shone bright and beautiful. Clouds moved slowly. Cities sparkled. She had seen war nearly begin. Now she would see love hunted down by those who couldn't accept peace. She turned to Vian, Kael's brother. I need your help. Vian stood like a statue, arms crossed. His face held no warmth. Ask me for help after you made my brother a traitor? I didn't make him anything. He made a choice. He saved us. He saved everyone. Vian didn't move. I watched him fall, she said. He took a shot meant for Earth. He gave up everything. Vian looked out at the stars. I hated you, he said softly. I thought you were weak, human, dangerous, he continued. But my brother saw something I didn't, and I saw it too, when he bled for your world. She stepped closer. The Nullborn will come for him. They won't care who they kill. Vane's eyes narrowed, and they'll get him out before they arrive. Back on Earth, secret conversations echoed inside a hidden Pentagon room. General Marcus Monroe stood before a digital map showing the Yelari ship. You're telling me the boy alien saved Usand? Now his own people want to kill him? Yes, sir, said the tech, and Eva is still up there with him. The general rubbed his face. He had given the order to fire first. He had almost started the war, and his daughter stopped it. He looked at the screen and made a decision. Get me the Stryker team. Prepare a silent extraction. 2 hours. Later, 6 U.S. stealth ships launched from the edge of the atmosphere, painted black with anti-radar skins. They moved quietly toward the alien warship. Their mission was clear. Find Eva. Extract the alien boy. Get out before detection. But the Yelari ship was ready. Eva and Vayon moved through the ship's dark corridors. Kael floated inside a portable med chamber, his body glowing faintly. They were heading toward the escape bay, where older ships now, unused, were docked. Yelari guards stared, but didn't stop them. Not yet. The countdown to the Nullborn's arrival ticked closer. Eva pushed faster. Then alarms rang out. Vion froze. They know. He said, they know we're running. A voice echoed through the walls. Unauthorized movement in Sector 9. Human life form detected. Prepare for elimination. Blasters charged. Guards began to move. They weren't going to ask questions. They were going to kill at that moment. The U.S. Stryker team entered the alien ship through a cloaked breach. They moved like Shadow 6 elite soldiers, armed with plasma rifles and AI masks. Their orders were not to fire unless attacked. One of them spotted Eva on a scanner. Target located. She's moving with 2 hostiles in a pod. Authorization to intercept? General Monroe's voice came through the earpiece. Don't shoot. Get her in the alien outlive. The mission had changed. It was now a rescue. Eva Vayon and Kael reached the escape bay. A small ship sat in the dark. Old, dusty, still functional. Eva turned to Vayon. You're not coming, are you? Vayon nodded slowly. They will call me traitor too. I'm sorry, she said. He placed something in her hand, a tiny silver disc, a gift from my brother, a memory seal. When you reach Earth, play it. It's for you. He turned away. I will buy you time." Then he sprinted down the hall toward the guards. Drawing their fire, Eva dragged Kael's pod up the ramp and into the ship. The controls glowed. She pressed the launch button. The ship rumbled to life and rose from the floor. But before it could fly far, the wall behind them exploded. 3 tall Yelari in black armor stepped into the bay. The Nullborn, they didn't speak. They didn't blink. They simply raised their weapons. Eva screamed and hit the throttle. The ship roared forward, but a blast tore into the side. Spinning it off course, fire filled the cabin. She coughed, pulled Kael close, and guided the ship through the docking tunnel. But the damage was too much. The ship tumbled toward Earth. Engines failing, systems cracked, lights dimmed. Gravity pulled Eva, held Kael, and closed her eyes. "I'm not letting go," she whispered. "Not this time." High above, the U.S. striker team saw the escape ship fall. It's her. She's hit, going down fast. Can we catch her? No way. But we can. Follow. They turned their jets and dived after her. Back at the Pentagon, General Monroe stared at the screen. His daughter's escape ship was crashing. Signal, dropping, then dash impact. Deep in the Rockies, no explosion, but no response. A red dot blinked, then vanished. The room fell silent. One voice whispered, "Sir, they're gone." The general closed his eyes, then turned to the map. "Get me a team. We're going in, no matter what." Hours later, in the snowy forest near the crash site, a black bird flew overhead. Then, from the trees, a pair of gloved hands pushed aside the burning metal. Eva gasped for air. Covered in ash and blood, dragging Kael out of the wreckage. He was alive, but barely, and Eva was fading fast. She pressed the disc Vian had given her. A hologram appeared. Kael's voice, soft and full of love. "Eva, if you're seeing this, I'm probably not beside you. But I want you to know, I would choose you every time. Every world, in every war, in every life." She smiled through tears, then collapsed beside him in the snow. Miles above, the alien ships were still watching. They hadn't fired. They hadn't moved, but now they noticed. One of their own had fallen to Earth, and a human had chosen death to save him, perhaps. This was not weakness. Perhaps this was something else, something they didn't understand, something called love. The snow was thick. Cold wind howled through the broken trees. Smoke rose from the wreckage of the small alien ship that had crashed deep in the Colorado Rockies. Burnt metal, scorched trees, and twisted wires covered the ground. But beneath it, all in the silence of the forest, 2 figures lay side by side in the snow. Eva Monroe, barely breathing, and Kael, the alien boy she had risked everything to save. His skin glowed faintly silver under the moonlight. Blood still wet on his shirt. Her arm was wrapped around him protectively, her own body frozen and bruised. They were alive, but they were dying, and the world didn't know yet. Above Earth, inside the Yelari mothership, alarms blared through the command deck. Commander Vian stood staring at a holographic map of the planet. 2 red markers flashed on the surface. Eva and Kael's biosigns. The Nullborn had failed to kill them. Now the High Council wanted to erase all trace of Kael's betrayal. This time, not just Kael. They wanted Eva dead. 2-1 council members. Voice echoed coldly through the air. "End this. Kill them both. Humans protect him, they die with him." Vayan said nothing. He had watched his brother bleed for peace. He had seen a fragile human girl walk through fire for love. He had doubted everything he believed in. Now he had to choose a side. Back on Earth, the U.S. military picked up the crash signal just before it vanished. The President, the Pentagon, and General Monroe stared at the last image, a blurry satellite shot showing Eva's ship going down. Then, darkness, no beacon, no heat signature, nothing. General Monroe clenched his fists. "She's still alive. I know she is." A young officer stepped forward. "Sir, if the Yelari are coming for her, we won't reach her in time." General Monroe looked up slowly. Then we don't send an army. He grabbed a sealed case and left the room. I'm going in myself. A few hours later, a military stealth chopper flew low over the mountains, fighting heavy snow and strong winds. Inside it, General Monroe wore a thick winter suit and held an old family photo. Smiling as a child, riding on his shoulders, she always said the stars were her favorite place, he whispered. The chopper landed hard on a narrow ridge. Monroe jumped out with a team of 2. Search everything. Burn the fuel. No one leaves until we find her. At the crash site, Eva opened her eyes. She couldn't feel her legs. Her lips were blue, her fingers frozen. She turned her head slowly toward Kael, who was unconscious, but breathing faintly. Stay. With me, she whispered. Her voice was dry and weak. She pulled herself closer to his pod and pressed a button on the side. It glowed, then flickered. The power cell was dying. If Kael didn't get heat or medical attention soon, he'd slip into a final shutdown. Eva bit her lip until it bled. She couldn't let that happen, not now, not after everything. She used all her strength to sit up and reached inside her coat. The memory disk Kael's brother had given her. Still there. She pressed it into the pod. Kael's voice played softly. If you're seeing this, I hope it means I made it. But if I didn't, know this. You showed me the part of life we're told to fear. Emotion, chaos, love. And because of you, I was never afraid again. Eva closed her eyes and wept. Tears froze on her cheeks. The sky above began to glow. A Yelari scout ship, coming for the kill. Inside the Yelari vessel, the lead hunter tall and faceless. Locked onto the heat trace of Eva's pod. Target locked. Weapons charged. Mission, eliminate and erase. But just as the ship prepared to fire, another ship appeared. Sleek, silver, and fast. It fired first. The Yelari scout exploded in a burst of blue flame. The blast echoed through the valley. Eva blinked through the light. Then, slowly, a figure stepped out of the new ship. Tall, armored, familiar. VA and Kael's. Its brother. He knelt beside her. I told them I would kill you both, he said. Quietly, I lied. Eva tried to speak, but only coughed. Vaughn lifted Kael's pod onto his shoulder. Let's get out of here. Just as they reached the edge of the clearing, a voice shouted behind them. Put her down. Van turned. General Monroe stood at the tree line, rifle raised, eyes wide with rage. His gun locked on Vane's head. Eva tried to scream, but no sound came out. Van froze. I am not your enemy, he said. Monroe didn't lower his gun. My daughter is freezing to death and you're walking away with the thing that put her in danger? Eva finally gasped. Dad, he saved us. Monroe blinked. His heart cracked. He dropped his gun and ran to her. Eva fell into his arms. Easy, he whispered. I've got you. Then he turned to Vayan. Go, get him safe. I'll handle this side. Vayan nodded once. Their eyes locked. In that moment, 2 soldiers from 2 different worlds reached silent agreement. Not as enemies, but as fathers. 2 days later, Eva woke up in a hospital bed in Denver. She was alive. So was Kael. His pod had been taken by Vayan to a neutral station orbiting Saturn, hidden from both the Yelari and Earth forces. A place where outcasts go to survive. Eva begged to see him, but the governments weren't ready. They still feared a second wave, feared another war, and above Earth. The alien ship still hovered, still watching, still deciding. Then something strange happened. Inside the Yelari ship, during a private session of the High Council, one of the members played a memory disk, not from Kael, but from Eva. A captured moment from when she cried beside Kael's body in the snow. She whispered one line, again and again. Please don't take him. Take me instead. The Yelari minds cold, and Logical saw something they didn't expect. Emotion, sacrifice, a strange, terrifying force called love. One of the council lights flickered, and then dimmed. For the first time in Yelari history, a council member cried, not with water, but with light. A single, Soft beam of energy fell from its core and hit the floor like a drop. That emotion passed from one mind to the next, and across there. Silent fleet, and for the first time, they felt what Kael had felt, what humans called love, and they didn't hate it. They envied it. Back on Earth, Eva stared at the stars again. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew this. She made an alien cry, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The silence before dawn was heavy. Stars still shone in the sky. But the Earth below was awake, watching, waiting, nervous. Above them, the alien fleet hovered like shadows made of metal and silence. They had not moved in days. They had not spoken. People around the world were afraid. Would the Yelari attack? Would peace fall apart? No one knew, and no one trusted. But one person still believed, Eva Monroe. She stood alone on a rooftop in Washington, D.C., her coat pulled tight against the cold morning wind. Her face was calm, but her heart was heavy. She missed Kael. Every night she dreamed of his eyes, his voice, the warmth of his hand holding hers in the forest. He had been taken to a hidden station orbiting Saturn, far away from danger, far away from her, and even though he was safe, the world was not. The Yelari Council had seen her memory. They had felt something they never expected. Emotion, love, but instead of reacting, they had gone silent. No threats, no answers, just silence. And the silence was louder than any war. Inside the White House, Eva met with the president and top generals, including her father. "We've tried everything," the president said. "Messages, signals, transmissions." The Yelari refused to respond. "They're observing us, testing us." General Monroe looked tired. He hadn't slept in days. They want to know if Kael's sacrifice was just a trick, if humans truly have changed. Stood. "Then let me prove it." The room fell quiet. The president raised an eyebrow. "How?" Eva looked out the window at the sky. "Send me to them. Let me speak to the council one last time." Monroe shook his head. "No, you almost died last time. I won't lose you again." Eva turned to him. "You won't. But if we don't act, we lose everything." She faced the president. "Let me be the bridge between Earth and the Yelari." The president was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. "Prepare the transport." That evening, Eva stepped into a sleek U.S. diplomatic vessel, a fusion of human tech and recovered Yelari designs. It was the most advanced craft Earth had. She sat in the cockpit. Alone, just her. One girl, one voice, representing all of humanity. As the ship lifted off, Earth shrank behind her, and the unknown grew ahead. The Yelari mothership was larger than any city. It opened its hangar without a word. Eva's ship was guided silently to the heart of the vessel. No guards greeted her. No weapons drawn, only cold lights and soft humming walls. She walked through the corridors, her steps echoing, and then, just like before, the judgment chamber opened. The 8 council minds floated, skin lights pulsing in the dark. But something was different. One light was gone, burned out. Eva stepped into the center circle and waited. No one spoke, so she did. "I don't know what you want from me," she said, her voice steady. "I only know what I feel. I love Kael. I love my world. I want peace." The lights flickered. She kept going. "You've seen what humans are. Yes, we're violent. Yes, we've made mistakes. But we also heal. We learn. We grow. That's what makes us worth saving." Still no answer. But she noticed the lights were so brighter now. Listening, she stepped forward. "I don't have power. I don't have weapons. I only have one thing, my heart, and I offer it freely." She dropped to her knees, hands open. "No lies, no tricks, no violence. I am yours to judge." Silence, then dash movement. A door opened behind. Her heavy steps echoed. She turned. Her breath caught Kael. Alive, walking. He looked stronger. His eyes glowed bright. His wounds were gone. He stepped beside her and took her hand. I asked them to let me come, he whispered. They agreed. But only if your words prove true. Eva looked at the lights. Are they? Convinced. One voice echoed. We are not just convinced. We are changed. Across the Yelari fleet, systems rebooted, weapons powered down, engines lowered. Peace signals were transmitted to every major Earth city. Then one message broadcasted worldwide. From the Yelari themselves, a human girl showed us a path we never saw. She did not come with power. She came with love. And because of her, we choose peace. On Earth, crowds filled the streets. People cried, hugged, cheered. History was being made, not by armies, not by presidents, but by a 17-year-old girl who believed in something better. Days later, a new station was built in orbit between Earth and Saturn, a joint home for humans and Yelari to live, study, and grow together. Eva was invited to be the first Earth ambassador, and beside her, always, was Kael. They walked through silver halls and looked down at the blue planet below. Kael squeezed her hand. Do you ever miss the forest? He asked. Eva smiled. I do, he smiled back. Then let's build one here. Years later, people would tell the story to their children, how a war was stopped by a girl with nothing but hope, how the aliens watched her cry and changed forever. They called her the last hope of two worlds, and she was just a human, just